This is the Open Floor NBA podcast where we talk about the league and everything going on in it. And it is a big day in the NBA with the league formally announcing its new rights deals. 11-year media agreements with Walt Disney, with NBC Universal, and with Amazon Prime Video, all of which will run through the 2035-2036 season. The league also announcing that it had rejected the Warner Brothers Discovery bid to match the Amazon deal. We're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes. I'm recording this new topper to the show because just about an hour or two before the league made that announcement official, I spoke to Ryan Glassbeagle of the New York Post, someone who's been all over the story from the beginning, about where this all was going, why the league was pushing to get Amazon involved over TNT. A lot of that stuff is still relevant, still topical, but we obviously discussed it before these deals were made official. So I'm just going to bring us current here at the top of the show before we get to my conversation with Ryan. And the current state of affairs with the NBA, to run you through the broad strokes of this media rights deal, is at Disney, ABC, ESPN. They remain the home of the NBA Finals, Christmas Day. There will be ESPN games on Wednesdays, NBA Saturday primetime on ABC, and NBA Sunday Showcase packages. NBC Universal will telecast opening night. They will have a new Sunday night primetime game slot and Tuesday regionalized games. They'll have Peacock games on Mondays, and they will have NBA All-Star. Prime Video will stream the NBA Cup. They will stream the play-in tournament, and they will have games on Thursday and Friday nights. Amazon will also serve as a strategic partner and third-party global destination of NBA League Pass. The NBA also announcing agreements will include more national games than ever before on broadcast television, and all national games will be available on broadly distributed streaming services. So there is a lot to unpack here. Let's start with Adam Silver, because this is a huge win for Adam Silver. We are in a climate where television is a declining medium, where you're not seeing as much money poured into a lot of aspects of television as you have in the past. Now, sports have always kind of transcended that because live sports remains the biggest currency in television. So you always knew the NBA wasn't going to take a cut from its previous rights deal. But what the NBA has done has nearly tripled its rights, annual fees from the previous deal. Nearly tripled in this media environment. That's a huge win for Adam Silver. Adam is there to work for the owners. He's there to generate as much money as possible, and he did just that. The reports are this deal is going to be worth around $76 billion over the lifetime of that deal, so about $7 billion per season. That's a massive number for the NBA. And Silver was able to do it while maximizing the NBA's exposure. He not only was able to add another over-the-top broadcast partner in NBC, so now the NBA's got ABC and they've got NBC back on board to broadcast games. They now have multiple high-profile streaming services to take the league into the future. You've got ESPN Plus there to broadcast games on that platform. Peacock, NBC's streaming platform, they will broadcast games. And of course, Amazon, which is a behemoth when it comes to streaming. They are the biggest internet giant that I know of, or one of the biggest in the world for sure. And that gives the NBA more of an opportunity to grab a foothold in the streaming space. Now, a lot of people are not going to be happy about having to stream games, but the reality is, and we'll get to the Turner side of this in a moment, if the NBA went back to TNT, there would have been a streaming element to it. You know, I mean, Turner, Warner Brothers has Max. There would have been games on Max. To watch some of those games, you would have had to subscribe to Max. It was likely as simple as that. So streaming is coming. If you don't like it, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's where television is trending, and it's where sports are now heading. So Adam Silver not only got a pile of money, he got the NBA double its exposure on broadcast television, adding NBC, and he's now got 3 premium streaming services in the mix broadcasting games. I don't know how you could have a much better run at this than Adam Silver did. I mean, this was a clinic when it comes to negotiations. So I'm sure the owners are happy with Adam Silver. The players will be happy with Adam Silver because it always, all this money, some of it goes into their pockets, half of it goes into their pockets. So a great job by Adam Silver in cutting this deal. Now, as far as Turner goes, all we know as we record this is that the NBA has rejected the Turner offer. And I want to read you the statement that the NBA put out there. Warner Brothers Discovery, which is the parent company of Turner, the most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime Video's offer, and therefore we have entered into a long-term arrangement with Amazon. Throughout these negotiations, our primary objective has been to maximize the reach and accessibility of our games for our fans. Our new arrangement with Amazon supports this goal by complementing the broadcast, cable, and streaming packages that are already part of our new Disney and NBC Universal agreements. All three partners have committed substantial resources to promote the league and enhance the fan experience. It closes by saying we are grateful to Turner Sports for its award-winning coverage of the NBA and look forward to another season of the NBA on TNT. A reminder that, these new deals are announced, but they do not go into effect until the 2025-2026 season. Now, I would expect some kind of response from Warner Brothers by the time you're watching this video or listening to this podcast. We may already have one. There has been widespread speculation that if Turner has its bid rejected by the NBA, that they would litigate this, that they would go to court and try to uphold their matching rights there, which presents a whole host of problems. I'm going to let Ryan Glasspiegel talk about that in the podcast. But it could tie this thing up for a while, and it could make it messy. And who knows what could happen if a judge decides that Turner does have the right to match this particular contract. So I don't think we're at the end of the road when it comes to the battle for NBA broadcast rights. But the NBA's made their position very clear and very public. They want this Amazon deal. They want to be done with Turner. They want to turn the page and go into the future with Amazon Prime as its partner. Now, there has been a lot of consternation, a lot of belly aching about the potential end for Inside the NBA. This does not have to be the end for Inside the NBA. Next season does not have to be a death march for Inside the NBA. It's not headed towards its execution. It's headed towards kind of a crossroads point because it's a show that could up and move to another network, specifically to Amazon Prime Video. All the participants in Inside the NBA, Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, Ernie Johnson, they could all pack it up and go work for Amazon. Yes, there are some contractual issues there, but I know Barkley's come out and said I can do whatever I want if we lose the NBA, and I'm sure the other guys on that set have similar arrangements. I know Ernie Johnson, it's been reported he said he will never leave Turner, never leave that company. He's been there for forever, doing multiple sports. But there's also no reason he can't be loaned out to do that show. They could probably continue to do it in Atlanta. There's lots of things Amazon could do. Remember, Amazon does not have the infrastructure to be a television network. NBC has effectively, they outsourced their production for Thursday Night Football to NBC. They hired their own broadcasters, but it was NBC doing the production for that. You could have a similar arrangement with Inside the NBA. And frankly, I don't know why Amazon wouldn't do that. Like, why wouldn't you want the most popular, the biggest studio show on television as part of your offering to your fans? Like, why wouldn't you want that? And I imagine that's exactly what Amazon is thinking right now, that we want to find a way to bring those guys on board. So yeah, it may be complicated. It may get a little bit messy. I'm sure Turner's not going to be friendly with Amazon, having just lost their package of NBA games to them, but it's certainly doable. So this, to me, this new deal being announced doesn't mean we're going to see one last season of Inside the NBA. I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk back and forth, a lot of threats made from multiple sides, but call me an optimist, but I'm a believer that we're going to get Inside the NBA on Amazon Prime Video. I just believe it. I think Amazon, which has the deepest pockets of anyone, Like, they are the richest and most wealthy game in town. They can afford to spend some money and get all those guys and the crew behind them. Like, the behind the scenes people that come up with all these ideas, they're invaluable to that show. Bring them all on board as well. Make them part of this new experience with Amazon Prime. Amazon has the money to do it, and I would expect them to go out and make that play for Inside.